times. There was Farrell scored one on the half-time hooter at Knowsley Road in about 2003 when he was playing a prop forward and had a busted face and hoofed one over from nearly halfway. But I know, Wigan fans will always talk about the likes of Joe Lydon who could kick it the length of the field and not trouble the grass. But Matty Smith, for the clutch, do you know what I mean? Slag him off all you want, people who hate Matty Smith out there, but you would love to have a player do this in your team.
I think he's a fabulous player. I think he's very underrated in terms of what he brings to your side organisationally. Now,
Paul Carriage was the Eels fullback, wasn't he? That was it. It was against the Bulldogs in a grand final where he just kept making mistakes, but I think the mistake that cost it was he tried to chip over the top.
Oh, that's right.
And whoever was the kicker for the Bulldogs kicked it from about 40 metres, maybe a bit shorter than 40 metres after getting into position. But so I guess Robert Louis must have tried to put a kick through for himself and not got there.
Spot karma. There you go. But let's talk about Salford though, because for, let's call it 73 minutes of this game, they were on top.
Well, it was 8-8 at half time.
This shows you what. Okay, but towards the end of the piece, Salford are well away, happily on top, and this, I'm less inclined to give St Helens credit for this than some people might be, because I think this just goes to show what happens if you take your foot off the gas and Salford actually learn about this. And this is them taking a 7-minute head fuck and getting the pants pulled down, rather than Saints have some masterful comeback.
All the tries that Saints scored were pretty nifty, but the Lomax one, the just sort of evaporation of that defence around Percival, which you can't allow. Wigan allowed it in our game that Saints won late on as well, and then which again was a Matty Smith kick, not a drop goal, but a pressure kick that he put in. So you can't credit him for these clutch moments. But just unbelievable that another team has fallen to that trap. Greg Johnson's defence on Regan Grace's try was a bit suspect, but then you've got to credit the kid for the...
Regan Grace was walking on air, wasn't he?
Yeah. And then obviously Roby's try involved a lot of desperation almost. But
they worked it well to get it to the man running the line.
Yeah. It was
fair play.
It was fantastic. I can't even remember... Oh, I can remember. Salford had a try scored by Niall Evalds. That if you think the Liam Marshall one was questionable, this one was in that conversation too. But the camera angle was like behind Evalds' back completely, so you can't actually see the ball. So it's just as hard to judge, I guess. But yeah.
There you go. But credit to Justin Allbrook's boys. That's a win. That's a bit of forward momentum and. Just a bit of a teeter for Salford. So hopefully
big help for them chasing the top 4, isn't it, for St Helens? Big boost in that regard.
Massively. So what did you go on?
Mark Percival, a grade C charge of other contrary behaviour. So I'm not sure what he did. Maybe
you go in more detail on that. Other contrary behaviour. What does that normally mean then?
Well, normally means something like when Frank Paul threw the boot into the stands. I think that was classed as other contrary behaviour. Let me see if there's
prejudicial to the
just here in the roundup. So you just like ad lib with something else or something. I don't know.
I don't, you put me under pressure now. I think I'll just sit and stare at you. So, do Salford pick up the pieces and fix up this little 7-minute error, or do you think this is the plug being pulled and they will gravitate back down towards kind of 5th, 6th neck of the woods over the coming weeks?
There was a conversation the other week, wasn't there, about Salford looking a bit tired because they're consistently playing basically the same team.
Wouldn't that be nice for you?
I think that might be an issue. I do think that people like Kopchak, Tassi, Krasnicki must be playing with some serious knocks by this stage of the season, and they aren't getting to rest that up. Combined with a little bit of these players haven't been on that journey before, whereas St Helens have got James Roby and Matty Smith, who have completely been on that journey before. And John Wilkin has ridden that train as well all the way to finishing games. So. That might be a factor in it, more than Salford's wheels have completely come off. A little bit of
fatigue
and a little bit of not having that experience. But this is an experience that they can learn from. I can't see anything jumping out at me in the write-up, so we'll have to find out when the official charge information is up on the Super League website. But 4 tries each, despite a 9-7 clean break win for the Saints, suggests that, in fact it might be more than that, suggests they wasted some chances. A 14-6 error count would also support that they wasted some chances, although they were more efficient, in inverted commas, in what they did, with 0.9 metres per carry better average gain in a close total metre count and 3.2% better team tackle success, despite tallying up 87 more tackles as a team.
There you go. So individually, who stood out for us?
But Salford again, only 6 errors, but this time weren't able to win it. But if they keep going with that low error count, you can't think that they're going to lose enough games to not be in that top 4. Individually, James Roby with a try, 53 tackles, 14 marker tackles, worked both ways. Johnny Lomax a try, 142 metres. Luke Thompson having a really good spell off the bench, 133 metres for him. Alex Walmsley, 172 metres, having a really good season. And Mark Percival, 2 try assists, 5 tackles, 110 metres, so he will be missed for them next week.
Big time.
If that charge stands up.
For
the losing Salford Red Devils, Nia Levels, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 101 metres. So clear to see why they've wanted to tie him down. We've talked previously that he wasn't sure where his future lay. Greg Johnson a try, 6 tackles, 132 metres. Convicted spousal abuser Robert Lew with a try, 5 tackles, 103 metres, 4 successful offloads, and Jake Bibby with 135 metres.
There you go. So congratulations to St Helens on that narrow victory. Final game of the weekend, Saturday afternoon, down at the HJ. Steve McNamara's Catalan Dragons rolled into town, and it finished Warrington 24, Catalan 16 in front of 9,798, refereed by Phil Bentham.
That crowd figure now enabled the round total to average just over 10,000. So a big, reasonable weekend for Super League crowds.
Big weekend. Who got in touch with us on this?
Tyler Casfan said, in a game lacking much quality, Wire kept their fans on tenterhooks until a late Cervello try calmed everyone down. Young fullback Dagger had a good game. Darryl Clark with a bit of spark, and Rara got to stick his tongue out a couple of times. It makes me angry every time I see it. For Catalans, Myler was decent, the rest shine.
There you go. Alan Walker says, dead cat bounce. Missed it due to fireworks all night, messed up the sleep. Looks like Supermac is getting us ready for the middle-eights for sure. Better start resting some players and get as many back as possible. We'll be playing Wire again, so we've got to beat them next time.
I wonder what was the big celebration then? What time of year is it in Catalonia?
I think of his Catalonia. I don't know. France. No, it's not even Bastille Day, is it? And he lives in Barcelona anyway. I don't really know. He'll tell us.
Wyatt Joe said, as has been the case with all of the games that we've won this year, we were just about the better of the two sides. In a nervous game, we managed to be a little less shit than a side consisting of Richie Myler and not much else. It'll be more meaningful than just 2 points if we can back this up next week with a positive performance and start to build some form going into whichever side of the 8 we end up in.
There you go. Lee Whitnell got in touch and said the 2 shittest teams in Super League are trying to out-shit each other. Comedy errors, schoolboy tries and headless chicken lateral running were the main features to enjoy for the 9,500 people who gave up their afternoon. 2 breaks, one from Clark and one from Dagger, a handful of moments from Gidley and Atkins, and overall the effort of Ben Julian were the only good things I can remember over the 80. Just glad to get the 2.
Assuming he was onside, Atkins' second try was another brilliant piece of very hard to stop play. The kick came from like the middle of the field, and it didn't. I don't know if it was the last tackle or not, but it didn't look like a kick. It was set for that sort of a kick, and it went high, and he got under it and scored it. I think he was offside in the build-up to his first try when it must have been Gigo or someone went up for a ball competing with the Flying Pig, and the ball came out, and I think the Flying Pig won the ball, juggled it a bit. It might have been Julian even who did this, and then played the ball, and Atkins scored, I think, off the back of that. But Warrington definitely scored off the back of that. There was a couple of dodgy tries for Warrington in this piece, this game, I thought. The first try was a forward pass.
Unconvincing
in
from
the
both sides.
Richie Myler's try was improvisational. We've seen him do that before, haven't we? For Warrington against Wigan, the double kicker.
Oh yeah.
But this was, I mean, slightly less polished than that first one from 3 years ago now, was it?
Yeah.
But
he's coming away from France this summer, isn't he?
Leeds is the very, very strong, almost confirmed destination for Richie Myler. Now, Leeds fans aren't too excited about it. I think they want to have a look at his performances this year.
Yeah.
And
in a bad team, he's been exceptionally solid and hard working.
And very creative.
Yeah.
In a team that's not scoring a lot of points, all the points they are scoring pretty much is coming through something he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's either supporting a play or making a play. He's been very good. He's been very good in attack this year, and I think people need to stop thinking Richie Myler, a little halfback who can't tackle and isn't very good because he never really consistently stayed in a top performing side. And maybe have a look at actually what he's been doing on the field this year and give him a chance at Leeds for next year. But everyone's saying other than that, there wasn't much going on for the Dragons, and it's more of the same. Like against a side that is playing poorly to get beaten, and the Savelio try was too easy, weren't it? Really, the one that sealed it, and then obviously Gigo lost his rag and got himself sin-binned for Dissent. So, which is a problem in his game as well. We talked about other people with that problem.
Yeah, he's got a gob on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Again,
and he's got a grade C charge of disputing the decision with aggressive body language. So I assume the language might have been in French forever, and he didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's one way of putting it. Will Dagger is a sports headline writer's dream, isn't he?
Yeah.
I can't say much more about the young man's performance, but good for him.
No, I don't know a great deal. I do know that Darryl Clark came off the bench and absolutely ripped it up down the middle from dummy half.
Yeah.
Which is good to see from a Warrington perspective, because everyone enjoys watching Darryl Clark at his best, don't they?
Absolutely. It's almost as if in some respects they built that team around him anyway, in terms of the way they set up to play. So Darryl Clark coming out and running the ball fast out of dummy half is so synonymous with Warrington over the last 2 or 3 seasons that it is good to see, because when it works right, it's attractive and it's rapid rugby league. So yeah, long may it continue. I rate Darryl Clark very highly when he's on form.
I agree, yeah. Totally.
Okay, so what do the stats tell us?
Stats indicate why we're good for the win, with discipline a particular hindrance to the Dragons, who had Gigo sin-bin late to add to an 11-6 penalty count against them. 1.1 metres per carry better average game for their 258 more metres in total was the most notable win for Wire on the stats, who appear to have been better without the ball. 2.3% better team tackle success. So all around, Warrington looked like they deserved this one.
Yeah.
The low mood of the Warrington fans is probably just because it wasn't made convincing.
Yeah, there you go, which you would perhaps expect it was. So individually then, for the Warrington Wolves, who stood out?
Well, Ryan Atkins with 2 tries and a try assist, 3 successful offloads. Andre Savelio with a try, 107 metres. Ben Julian contributed, so that left edge was a big boon for them. 1 try, 170 metres. Will Dagger playing fullback this time around, 158 metres for him. Obviously a lot more accustomed to that position, because he wasn't a factor, was he? He wasn't even involved. He was basically a passenger in the game against Wigan in the Cup. But back at fullback this time, when he was on the wing, back at fullback this time, really active. Darryl Clark, 152 metres for him off the bench there.
For the Dragons then?
Jody Broughton with a try, 136 metres, so good to see him back in the side. After getting all the players back just in time for 2 games at home, building up to a Wigan game, so great. Then it'll be the 2 shittest teams in Super League playing each other again, won't it, at that point? Fuad Yaha, 125 metres, Richie Myler 2 tries, Tony Gigo 5 tackles, 114 metres and a lot of mouth. Paul Ayton, 43 tackles.
There you go. So, did you say McAllister?
It was too many. He didn't deserve to be on the list.
Doesn't deserve to be on the list. So that's last week in Super League. Then what does all that do in terms of the standings, Mark?
Right, well, Cass now have a 7-point lead at the top. Hull are now in second. That's all. The next 3 sides, which were Salford, Leeds and Wakefield, lost. Down at the bottom, Wire leapfrog Catalans into 9th, and Widnes overtake Leigh to move out of 12th in their from their respective head-to-heads over the weekend.
Fantastic.
Round 19 was a big one for the stat numbers, though, Tom, as well. It had the most carries, the most metres, the most dummy half runs, and the most successful offloads of any round in 2017.
Big stat round there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, what does all that do in terms of predictions, Super Brew, and Dream Team updates?
Well, we threw the State of Origin in.
Yes.
this week. So we were both 4 out of 7 this week, Tom. That means not much change. I'm still 9 behind in the cumulative totals on the predictions for us. In Super Brew, it's Oliver Smith who is wearing the yellow cap this week and rises up the table to second place. He's closed the gap somewhat on a wooden spoon holding Dr. Bob Phillips.
Bad week.